What's going on to you, Scorpios? You Scorpios actually have the Hierophant, the Hanged Man, and then you also have the Strength. Very interesting group of cards. Very interesting. The reason why it's so interesting, right? Just getting comfortable. The reason why it's so interesting for you Scorpios is due to the fact that a lot of you Scorpios pretty much are like, you know that you're connected, you've made things right with the Most High, whatever that is to you. And so you're in good standing. And so the thing is that the Hanged Man and the Strength card, again, you're going to stand on business, with matters of the heart and pretty much everything else. Yeah, that's really what it is that the world is missing the most of. It's saying no to certain things, right? Not saying yes. A lot of the times people are going to naturally be adversarial when you say no to certain things. But it's about what you say no to. It's not about saying no to everything. It's about what you say no to. If you say no to the things that should be said no to, you'll be all right. And this is what these three cards were basically talking about, right? It's the fact that you Scorpios do not accept just anything that comes to you, right? You will say no to the appropriate things. And the Strength card represents, because you carry yourself with dignity, right? That's the thing. The devil can only tempt you, so to speak. The devil, so to speak, can only tempt you by making things look appealing. If you say no to certain things, then you keep yourself safe from those things, right? In essence. But you just have to essentially say no. And a lot of you Scorpios are in a place where you're just laying low, staying patient, laying low, staying patient. And because of the fact that you Scorpios are staying patient, it's actually paying off. Because patience is one of the things that a lot of people lack in today's world, and it actually does you a huge favor. The reason why is because the Three of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles, right? Your ideology or your idea or your own ideas about discomfort, right? Then you also have the Eight of Pentacles. So it's like, it's this idea of like love and joy and discomfort and betrayal and all of that. How do you deal with that? How do you go about like confronting that? What do you do? And a lot of you Scorpios didn't know how to experience this before, right? You would just take it. But a lot of you Scorpios understand that there's things that can be done, right? I'm talking about this concept of like, Ram the Yautja, right? What makes he's my favorite Yautja, by the way, in the whole the universe, right? Of that lore. What makes Ram my favorite? It's his experience. Part of it. Not only is he blue's my favorite color, but part of it is also the fact that like he's good at what he does from experience, right? And it's from my perspective, my own idea, that the more experiences you go through and you learn from those experiences, as long as you don't make any severe mistakes, they actually get you stronger. And so it's the same concept here, right? It's the concept of the fact that what you Scorpios have going on is your whole perspective is changing. Your whole perspective is changing. How you perceive things like discomfort and relationships, it's not even coming from a perspective of discomfort. Because most people get themselves into a relationship, they experience a breakup, and then they become jaded. And they perceive everything from the vantage point of that jadedness, instead of actually paying attention to what the experience really taught them. You know what I mean? You Scorpios are looking at it from the vantage point of what that experience taught you, as opposed to the jadedness and the bitterness that came along with that, right? I'm going through some stuff with I'm not going to say going through. I have went through some stuff with an Aquarius that I really liked. Right? And then not to mention my father, who was an Aquarius. Right? He acts just like this young lady that I was getting to know. I'll say that, right? In the spirit of trying to be respectful, right? And I was just asking myself, why do Aquarius act like that? And I know a lot of Aquarius who act like that. But then at the same time, I know a lot of Aquarius who are good that I actually get along with. You did. So I'm like, yeah, because I see the archetype of how Aquarius can be. But I also seen and know a lot of great Aquarius. You understand what I'm saying? So I can't say, yo, why do Aquarius do this? Yeah, do Aquarius do this? Yeah, but at the same time, I'm not coming from the vantage point of, all Aquarius do this, because I know for a fact that they don't, right? And so the Eight of Pentacles, that's what I'm talking about. This is the vantage point that you Scorpios are coming from. It's the perspective that you will not and you should not allow discomfort to get in the way of you perceiving things correctly that can actually benefit you, right? You don't want to start thinking, because this is part of it, right? So many people do not take the lesson, right? They perceive things from their bitterness instead of understanding what they have learned. I've learned so much from hanging out with the Aquarius. You know, I've learned so much from hanging out with the Aquarius. I've learned that a person could be smart in one area and completely stupid in another area, and still dysfunctional, and the intelligence can be false. I also learned how much effort people put into appearances and fronting, but they don't actually put in the substance. Hanging out with that Aquarius, and then not only that too, but knowing my father taught me so much. And so this experience has taught you, Scorpio, so much as well. It's taught you, Scorpios, the number one, how to pretty much be tougher, perceive discomfort in a different perspective, in a different light. Instead of you looking at it from a perspective of, get out of here. I'm not going to be in love again. I'm not going to be in relationships. Boo, right? You Scorpios look at it from a perspective of what? A love type of, not a love, a love type of thing, where it's a life lesson. It taught you a lesson. It taught you, again, the Knight of Cups, right? To not take people's disrespect so personally, for one, right? And that if they're going to continue to disrespect you, address them about the situation, right? It is your responsibility to address them, even though they are being a jerk and they're wrong for that. It's also your responsibility to address the fact that you don't like being talked to like that. You know, you don't like being talked to like that. And then what's happening here, and then you'll get to another level where maybe you'll get to another point where you will find out that you shouldn't even have to be talked to like that. You'll just go away. Because if a person doesn't already understand that they do have to respect everyone, then you'll be like, okay, you're not even going to talk to them because they are missing a basic principle of respect everybody. Duh, right? And so the situation with that is that because what it is that you've learned, the High Priestess and the Six of Wands, you're learning to confront that part of yourself. You're learning to confront the darkness. You're learning to you Scorpios are learning to confront that which will help you. You got to understand, the 8th house is the darkest house of the entire zodiac. It's darker than the 10th house, which is where Capricorn naturally reside, right? If Capricorn is the devil, Scorpio is where the devil would reside, basically. You dig what I'm saying? So the point that I'm trying to make here with that is, I'm not saying that you Scorpio, I'm not saying that there's something inherently wrong with you Scorpios. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that that's the beauty of it, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to convert dark to light. Dark to light. What is hidden, not talked about, you don't like, things that you have to confront it. Put it into the light. Reveal it. Address it. Encounter it. Talk about it. Incorporate it and assimilate it into an aspect of yourself, because it is you, right? It's like Ichigo Kurosaki from the show, the anime Bleach. By the way, my favorite anime is Bleach, by the way. He talked about it himself. He said the blade is me, meaning that all of this stuff is internal. All of this stuff is internal first. It's inside of you, Scorpios, right? This vantage point in which you Scorpios are paying attention to and looking through this lens has put you in a better position in life, because most people, they're not gonna ever be able to see past through the vantage point. How many times in life have you Scorpio said you're done, you're not gonna date again, and then you basically wanted to date? Okay, maybe that's not a very good example. Okay, how many times have you Scorpio said you wasn't gonna do something, and then you ended up doing it again because you see the value in what it is that you're doing, right? And so it's the same situation here for you Scorpios. The High Priestess is just an instance in which you're learning to confront that darkness, that part about yourself that you didn't learn to cultivate, and it wasn't celebrated. See, this is what I'm talking about with these light workers and this love and light crew, right? This stuff about love and light crew. But how do you get the light? You have to get the light by converting it from the darkness. You have to go into the darkness first and then convert it into light. You don't just start light, because otherwise, if you just start out light, you'll go to the darkness. How you start is not how you end. And when it comes to self-conversion and becoming a different you, how you start is not how you end. If you start light, you're gonna go to the dark. If you start dark, you're gonna go to the light. This is why it's better to start off as a dark magician, because you're going from dark to light. If you go to the light side, you have a lot of people that mess your mind up, use you, treat you like whatever. Why? Because there's a lot of charlatans who want to be perceived as being good. A lot of people are virtue signaling when you start talking about this love and light. You know how many people who I've known throughout my years of gaining this knowledge, because knowledge is accumulative, who I realized were fakes. Just fakes. They're not and then they get themselves caught up in I've seen people, my dear Scorpios, who invoked the clip off and they did not make it. They completely turned into a different person. They lost it. But then where it is that they failed, I succeeded, thankfully. But where they failed, I succeeded. You understand what I'm saying? So the thing is that the Seven of Cups and the Judgment for you Scorpios represent, because what that does also too is that it keeps your eyes open. Remember what it is I said to you Scorpios, when it comes to dealing with discomfort and learning how to interact with other people, it's about keeping your eyes open. When you go through something uncomfortable, what do? Spiritually, you're squinting your eyes spiritually, because now it's how you perceive, how you understand, how you go about navigating the world is distorted. It's not a good way for you to do that benefits you. You Scorpios start looking at it from a perspective, or anyone starts looking at it from a perspective of, yeah, just because you Scorpios been through some things, then yeah. But the fact that you Scorpios won't let this, what's been occurring, breaking up with the now ex, having to start from scratch, because of the fact that you Scorpios aren't looking at it from the perspective of this person is this, that, and the third, and you look at it as a part of life. This person wanted to play games. It doesn't mean that this person doesn't like you, but how you perceive relationships are different, because you're realizing what are you Scorpios realizing? You Scorpios are realizing a lot of people are lying about wanting to be in relationships. There's an aspect of them, yes, that does want it, But when they get themselves in a relationship, they know that they're not cut out for it. So what do? They do a lot of disrespectful things to set the other person free, because they want the other person to do what? To be the villain, to be the adversary, and embrace the adversary and break up with them. You have to embrace the adversary and break up with them, because to these people, that they are playing the role of the hero. Somebody has to play the hero, somebody has to be the villain. You not wanting to be the villain is what's getting you caught up. Why? Because when you play the villain, there, no matter what's happening, even if you're the one that's actually right, they're always going to take on the movie role of the good guy. They're always going to take on the movie role in their perception of the hero. Even if they're not actually the hero, they can actually be the real villain, because what happens is people end up perceiving them as the actual villain. But guess what? They still will maintain this disposition, even if it's not correct, of them being the hero. You have to, what was I saying? Accept the Luciferian aspect. Accept the fact that you will be perceived as the dragon, the villain. Stop trying to be perceived as the villain, as the hero all the time. As long as you know in here and in every fiber of your being, you actually did do the right thing, you do not have to have this chip on your shoulder of proving that you're such a hero of the story all the time. As a matter of fact, it's not even a good thing for you to try to be the hero of the story all the time, because you will waste a lot of energy and a lot of time and a lot of resources trying to prove it to everyone that you're this hero, virtue signaling and all of that. So once again, my dear Scorpios, you actually did the right thing, and you're looking at the discomfort of how things have had tremendous amount of change for you, right? Not, some of you probably broke up, long-term established relationship, moved out, doing your thing, whatever it is, you actually have done the right thing. And this is what I mean when I say it's dark to light. It's not light to dark, it's dark to light. Which molecules came first? Is it dark molecules or is it light molecules? Darkness came first. And then out of, literally, darkness scientifically came first, and then and then light came second. So that's what you're doing. So let's clarify the judgment card, and then let's get out of here. So you have the King of Michael, the Perspective, the King of Ariel, the Knight of Gabriel, and then you also have the Two of Raphael, right, for you Scorpios, to clarify the judgment. Right. You don't even understand that the judgment here, you have been delivered. You have exalted yourself by trying to be the hero, by trying to be perceived as being the good one all the time, by letting the change occur, respecting the change, adapting to the change. And then once you respect it and adapt it and embrace it, you actually become more powerful from the change. And guess what happened? This is confirmation of it. The King of Michael, the Perspective, and the Queen of Ariel, there was nothing to really think about. Everything was pretty much obvious. The more you would have ignored how wild and how goofy this person was becoming, is the more disrespectful they were going to become. You couldn't have avoided it. And so the thing is that Nine of Gabriel and the Two of Raphael represents how now your life is a lot more clear with what you want. You have all this space. The Nine of Gabriel, nothing but land. This person has enough land. How much is that? An acre? More than an acre of land? And what is that farmer doing on that land? Plowing the land, or getting rid of the grass so that this farmer can essentially plant plant life, so to speak, and is essentially going to have a garden or whatever else this farmer is making. And so it's the same way when it comes to the Two of Raphael, right? Letting the sun set on relationships so that the sun can rise on others. So that's it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. hit the notification bell, set the notification bell to all.